my name's Christina and I'm a travel specialist for As You Wish Vacations. While I book many vacation destinations, I specialize in the Disney family of products. This video series focuses on Walt Disney World specifically. And if you've been following along the series, you know we are getting so close to our vacation. We have been step by step planning our Walt Disney World vacation and we're almost there. We are less than a month away from our vacation. We have our resort, we have our dining, we have our fast passes, we even have our touring plan. Now, we want to know which water park we're going to go to. We decided very early on that we were going to spend a day in the water park, but we didn't choose which one when we decided. So one of the reasons you want to wait until closer is they go down for refurbishment. So during the winter months especially, there's not a whole lot of need for water parks unless you're from Boston like me and it's cold and you get down to 70-degree Orlando and you're like, yes, water park. But if you're from Orlando and it's 70 degrees, you're freezing. So you're not going to the water parks. So the locals don't go. They close one of the parks down for the winter. And that park will completely depend on what needs refurbishment. They usually alternate, but sometimes it changes, so you don't really know. So you want to choose your water park. If they're both open, I'll talk you through how to choose them. But if they're not both open, there's your choice made for you easily. If you are going through the winter months, there is a few things you need to know, or actually just one big thing you need to know is that they do close for temperature. So it's not very rare. It has to be like below 50 degrees, but they will close for temperature. Like this past week, they were in the 30s and the water parks did close. So you don't want to buy your ticket if you're going in the early months until you know what the weather is going to be or the day of. And that's totally fine. If it ends up closing on the day that you plan on going, go to Disney Springs, go to one of the resorts. There's plenty of other things to do. Don't get discouraged, but just know it's something that can happen. All right, so now we're going to talk about the water parks. Walt Disney World has two water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach. They are definitely aimed at different age groups. So if you are going with young kids or teenagers, I would go to Blizzard Beach. So Blizzard Beach has more kid attractions. They have two kid areas. One is called Tykes Peak, and it's like has little slides and water features, and for anyone under 48 inches. So this is made for toddlers, basically. And then they also have ski patrols. Ski patrols for those who might be intimidated by some of the bigger slides, but still want to be at the water park. So this is better for preschool kids, maybe young school-age kids. But they also have one of the scariest water park attractions I've ever seen. It's called Summit Plummet. You have to take a ski lift up. I should probably tell you a little bit about the theming. Sorry, guys. So the theming of Blizzard Beach is that there was a freak snowstorm in Orlando. Freak snowstorm in Florida. And this enterprising alligator was like, I'm going to open a ski place. I'm going to open it and I'm going to make money on this freak snowstorm. But then it started to melt. So the poor alligator's like, oh no, I had this great idea. I was going to make all this money. What do I do now? All of the melting snow, he was like, water park. So the theme is that you have the big mountain, all the slides are coming down off the mountain. There's ski slopes, they're like downhill skiing, all those kind of things. That's the theming for Blizzard Beach. So Summit Plummet, basically you take a ski lift up to the top of the mountain and you plummet straight down. Straight down. I don't know how many stories, but it's crazy. I've never done it. If you've done it, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to know what you thought. I'm just way too afraid to do it. So that's Summit Plummet. They also have other coasters and they have other slides. They have one where you can race each other. They also, for a long time, had the only family coaster. So if you wanted to do oh my goodness, I keep saying coaster. They also have the only family slide. So if you wanted to go on a family slide, like a raft ride where everyone gets in the big tube, the only place you could do it was in Blizzard Beach. So you would take, again, the ski lift up to the top of the mountain, and then you would get into your tube and you would go down. That's no longer the case. Typhoon Lagoon just opened their first family raft ride, and it is incredible. So we'll talk about that in a second. So Blizzard Beach is better for young kids and thrill seekers, teenagers and adults, thrill seekers. One of the things you need to know is both of the parks have these little mini donuts. They're little donut holes, and they're similar to cider donuts, but they're not cider donuts, but they're rolled in the cinnamon sugar. Oh, they're so good. You could also get them in the confectionery. You get like little dipping sauces for them. You can get caramel or chocolate. Oh, they're good. So I think I'm not a big water park person, but I like to go for the donuts. If you watched 5 Wishes earlier this week, you know I love my snacks. So that is Blizzard Beach. Typhoon Lagoon is my personal favorite. I think it's better for families, and I think it's better for those with grade school age children. So you have a bunch of slides. You also have coasters. You have water coasters, which basically, instead of just sliding down the slide, you have water then propelling you up and down. So if you've ever been on a Disney cruise, it's like the aqueduct, where it's kind of propelling you up and down with the water pressure. They're a lot of fun. There's 3 of them, so you have to try out all 3 of them. And then there's that new family raft ride I was talking about. It's called Misadventure Falls. It is basically a theme park attraction. You get on your tube and you go up. You know, one of those conveyor belts that you have to go up to go down on Pirates or Splash or any of those rides. You have to go up the little conveyor belt. You do that in your raft, and then you go down, and there's audio animatronics, so it's very, very themed. The theme of Typhoon Lagoon is basically a typhoon came in, like surfboards got lodged into trees. There's a ship on the top of a mountain because it just got left there when the typhoon rolled out. So it's more of a beachy vibe, more of kind of like a Polynesian type vibe. They have a burger with pulled pork and pineapple on it. Sorry, keep going back to food. Sorry, guys. Which is excellent. And then they have some intense slides as well, but it's not as intense as Summit Plummet. Their wave pool is pretty intense. Their waves get to be up to 6 feet. You can take, for teens and adults, you can take surfing lessons there in the morning. That's how intense this wave pool is. So both of the water parks have lazy rivers. Both of the parks have slides. Both of the parks have tube rides. They're pretty similar in those regards. Again, Blizzard Beach has the 2 kids play areas. Typhoon Lagoon does have a play area for kids. It's called Kitchi Kitty Creek, and it does have those water features, but it doesn't have 2, and it's not as involved as Blizzard Beach. So young kids, thrill seekers, head to Blizzard Beach. Families, grade school kids, I think Typhoon Lagoon is a better fit for you. So just some touring tips. The parks get really busy during the day. So if you go the first 2 hours, the park is open. It doesn't open till 10. You don't have to get there at 7 a.m. like you do the theme parks. So if you want a late morning, this is a good option for you. Or the last 2 hours that the park is open. So maybe you get up, you do your early morning in one of the theme parks, and then you take a break at the hotel, and then you go to the water park for the rest of the afternoon. That's when you're going to see the shortest lines. Obviously winter, shorter lines than summer. If you go into the dead of summer, definitely get there early and hit some of the more popular slides first, like the Crush and Gusher or Misadventure Falls or Summit Plummet. Those do get some lines. Usually the family raft rides, and there's 1 or 2 popular tube rides that will get longer lines. I like to wear water shoes in the park. It just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. If you're walking around in flip-flops, they get slidey and you can't wear them on the slides. And then walking around barefoot just kind of grosses me out a little bit. So definitely invest in some water shoes. I have a really cute pair from Speedo that look like Mary Jane's, so they're not completely terrible. They don't look like the 80s water shoes I used to wear as a kid. but there's definitely some cute things out there that you can wear. You can't wear Crocs on the rides. You can't. So just kind of be aware of that. There are locker rentals there for you, so you don't have to worry about your stuff all day. But honestly, we wear our Magic Bands. Our Magic Bands have everything on it. You can pay for your food. You can pay for everything with your Magic Band. So you really don't need to bring anything else. Your cell phone, you can get one of those cases to protect it or lock it in the locker. That's it. That's all I have on water parks, guys. I have to say, I'm not a water park fan. The Disney theming makes it more of a really fun place to be. It's shaded. There's not as Typhoon Lagoon more so than Blizzard Beach. Typhoon Lagoon has a little bit more shading and you're not waiting in the hot sun. Make sure you pack your sunscreen, and if you guys have any questions for me, make sure you email me, Christina@aywvacations.com. Follow me on social media. So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest @aywchristina. Head over to my website, check it out. I have all sorts of tips and tricks there. If you want to be the first to know about deals and discounts and things, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. That goes out monthly, or if there's any big deals announced, so it's not super frequently. I think that's all I have for you guys. Please, please, please subscribe. Please share. Please do all the things you do to support me. Keep doing it. And I hope all your vacations are exactly as you wish.